Good evening, everyone.
Coming up next on Newsline 9 at 6, Amtrak pulls into Oklahoma City with plans to set up commuter train service through the Sooner State.
Dangerous work this morning as a gas pipeline explodes, injuring one man. The cause of the explosion coming up.
And a pregnant woman is gunned down by a man she knows and knows well. Today, police say they do have a suspect in custody. Newsline 9 at 6 is next.
Working in the spirit of Oklahoma, this is Newsline 9.
That familiar sound may be heard more and more often in Oklahoma as Amtrak pulls into the Sooner State, ready, at least considering, bringing back commuter service. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Ogle.
And I'm Jennifer Reynolds. We'll have more on that good news in just a moment. But right now, we have some breaking news. We're going to get a report now on apparently a propane explosion not too far from the station here. A report from Ranger 9. You're looking at a view here in the neighborhood of Northeast 10th and Midwest Boulevard. I don't think that's an exact address, but it is close. One person has been transported to Baptist Hospital with burns, we are told. This call being responded to by at least two cities, I think, Midwest City and Oklahoma City. And not much more information available right now, but you can see a pretty good amount of damage. We
do have an exact address now. We're told it is 208 East Campbell. 208 East Campbell.
We have a ground crew on the way. Of course, you can still see, I don't think that's gas. I think that's a broken water line or perhaps a hole in a fire hose. But we will continue to watch that for you and have more as we get it.
Now, our top story. It appears to be full steam ahead for Amtrak's return to the Sooner State.
And that could be just the ticket for a lot of Oklahomans. It's been a long time since commuter train service rolled through Oklahoma. You may remember it if you can remember all the way back to the late 70s. It was October of 1979, to be more exact, when the last Amtrak train came through Oklahoma City. That was more than 16 years ago. It was the end of commuter train service in Oklahoma. At least it seemed to be the end. But these are the routes that Amtrak would like to open up now here in Oklahoma. One would run from Newton, Kansas to Oklahoma City and then down through Fort Worth, and the other between Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Today, Amtrak is testing the tracks to see if rails currently used for freight train service can handle passenger trains.
Newsline 9's Jesse Gary hit the tracks today to check all this out for us, and he is in our live center now with the story. Jesse, it sounds interesting.
Very interesting, Jennifer and Kelly. It's been 17 years since Amtrak last ran a train down the old Lone Star rail line, and if some members of the state legislature get their way, the fastest way to the Dallas-Fort Worth area could be by train. Early this morning, or early this afternoon actually, a specially outfitted Amtrak train pulled out of the old Santa Fe station in downtown Oklahoma City. ODOT requested that the rail company conduct a study of existing lines. This three-car train is testing the 405 miles of track between Newton, Kansas and Fort Worth. 5 crew persons in the geometry car use computers, video monitors, and strip charts to check and record track integrity.
One of the things we want to look for is what that looks like at the wheels when there's load on the rail.
The ongoing test and subsequent report will be delivered to the state officials by April 15th. One of the major considerations is cost. Amtrak officials say so far the rail lines look to be in excellent shape, especially since they hadn't conducted a line test like today's since 1979, Jennifer.
I think they used to make things better back in those days,
Yeah.
Jesse. How much interest is there in bringing back this the idea of passenger rail service to Oklahoma?
A lot of people would like an alternative to Dallas and other parts of the country. Down in Pauls Valley, the folks down there refurbished their old train stations. They're real excited. And this isn't just happening in Oklahoma. Denver is considering and conducting similar tests right now, and they hope to have passenger rail service between Denver, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. Jennifer.
All right, Jesse, thanks. The special Amtrak train is scheduled to reach Fort Worth tonight. More rail tests are slated for lines from Texas to Chicago. And now here is the fine print on all this. The Amtrak plan is on hold until the federal budget impasse can be resolved. This all revolves around a bill in the U.S. House that won't be passed until a budget is approved. Senator Nichols says he thinks the measure will be passed. It's just a question of when.
Fun to travel on the rails. Workers at Oklahoma City's General Motors plant vote to strike if they need to. Votes cast within the last 2 days were tallied up, and workers overwhelmingly approved a strike if negotiations with GM fall through. The workers are upset about health and safety issues. The strike probably wouldn't take place until next month. Start with a hot engine, toss in some natural gas, and you have a very dangerous mixture. That combination produced an explosion just west of Chandler this morning. Authorities say a heavy equipment operator cut into a natural gas pipeline. The gas ignited, burning the operator, 47-year-old Joe Rushing.
The EMTs classified him as critical burns. He had severe burns on his hands and face. His clothes were on fire.
Rushing was metaflighted from Chandler to Baptist Burn Center. He has been upgraded to serious condition.
An Oklahoma City man who turned himself into police is now accused of gunning down his pregnant girlfriend. Venetia McCormick was 5 months pregnant when she was shot and killed last night. We told you about it in our 10 o'clock newscast. Police say her boyfriend, Terry Green, was angry and jealous and started chasing McCormick while she was in a car. Green reportedly rammed the car and started shooting. No word yet on whether Green will face 2 murder charges since, again, his girlfriend was pregnant. A mysterious death in a Tulsa mobile home park has investigators looking for answers. Police say 33-year-old Charles Ellis was shot and killed by a close friend. Investigators say that friend is in custody, and witnesses say that Ellis had been ill for a long time, but the exact motive for the murder is still unclear.
The murder weapon has been found in a Cleveland County murder case. The case involves the shooting deaths of Bonnie Kinsey and David Johnson. Their bodies were found on a farm near Noble last October. In February, the attorney for murder defendant Larry Goebel turned over a pistol without saying where it came from. Ballistic tests have established the gun is the murder weapon. Today, Larry Goebel's brother-in-law testified he was given the gun by the defendant. The judge ordered Goebel to stand trial for the murders.
Stephen Jones, the attorney for defendant Tim McVeigh in the bombing case, wants the bombing judge to step in and make the government produce all its evidence against his client. In a motion that was filed today, Jones says the thousands of documents already turned over by the government are useless because no index was provided. He claims the government has left out critical evidence that could help clear McVeigh. Jones wants a hearing on all this before Judge Mage to establish what has to be turned over to the defense and when. There's also some new information that has come out of this latest brief. Of the 2 witnesses who reportedly fingered Tim McVeigh as the man who rented the Ryder truck from this rental agency in Junction City, Kansas, Jones says it appears that one never saw a photo lineup of the suspects. The other looked at a lineup a month and a half after Tim McVeigh had been publicly identified as the prime suspect in the bombing.
Sounds like this cold snap is almost over, but the bad news is it's going to get worse before it gets better.
And still no rain in sight as far as I know.
No.
We'll get the latest from Gary next.
Gary?
No rain in sight, and then you're also correct. It is going to drop off, be very cold tonight. We might take a look at the present temperatures around the state, and we'll pop that up. And we can see in the western panhandle running 40 degrees. They have southwesterly and southerly winds, so that indicates there'll be a warm up in Oklahoma tomorrow. It's 38 in Guyman, which is nice and warm compared to what we have here. Cold spot 25 to 26 in northeastern Oklahoma, near freezing in southeastern sections. And it's going to be a very cold night tonight, cold in the morning, probably still cool tomorrow afternoon, but warmer.
A yes vote on that warm-up. Thank you, Gary. Today's cool temperatures, clear skies, and low winds are all combining to put us under a clean air alert today. On those days, it's good to carpool, ride the bus, keep emission levels down. But how about a special pickup truck to help the ozone? This truck is one of 4 at OG&E that runs on electricity. All they need is an overnight charge, and they can go 60 to 80 miles, and there's no gas or fumes to damage the ozone layer.
Of course, they get all the free electricity.
Not a concern for them, is it?
That's a really good deal. Election day is drawing near, and here's the proof.
Up next on Newsline 9, the candidates are coming. We'll tell you who, when, and where next.
Motorheads, stay tuned for the scoop on this weekend's car show.
You're watching Newsline 9 with Jennifer Reynolds, Kelly Ogle, Bill Teagan Sports, and Oklahoma's #1 meteorologist, Gary England.
With a week full of wins, GOP frontrunner Bob Dole takes his presidential campaign to Florida.
So far, Dole's been dominating the race. He's telling his main competitors now they should step aside. But Pat Buchanan says he's in it to win it. There's no chance of him backing down. He's campaigning in Louisiana. And Steve Forbes continues his fight, stopping in the battle place, the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas. Presidential hopefuls are expected in the Sooner State over the next couple of days. Bob Dole, expected to touch down tonight in Oklahoma City, hold a rally tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Then Monday, Pat Buchanan is expected in Oklahoma just one day before.
Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 170 points. That drop comes after a good report on jobs. More people are working these days, but the news made investors and traders nervous about interest rates, so the Dow plunged. Experts say that the drop shouldn't hurt investors too much, though, considering all the recent increases on Wall Street.
Now we have some breaking news. In far northeast Oklahoma City, Newsline 9's Heidi Browning is standing by.
Heidi, what's the latest?
Well, Jennifer, you can see the fire behind me. This is a house fire in Midwest City. When we got here, it looked like the fire was under control, but as you can see, it has broken out again and is now through the roof. Firefighters were working when we arrived, knocking into the roof, and again, it looked like the fire was out. This all was sparked by a propane tank explosion on an RV. The 61-year-old man who lives at the home behind me was working on his mobile home, his motor home, on his carport. He said he smelled gas, got out to try to turn it off, and that's when it ignited. It blew him back into the street. We understand he has burns on his face and hands and arms, and he was taken to Baptist Burn Center. His wife and daughter were also in the house, and they apparently got out unharmed, but as you can see, the fire has spread the carport on the other side of the house, and the vehicles are a total loss, and now the rest of the house is continuing to burn. Kelly, Jennifer?
Okay, Heidi, thank you very much. We saw the shot from Ranger 9 just a little while ago. The address on that is 208 East Campbell.
All right, we'll continue to watch that one for you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. TV said, okay, Gary's going to say hi to somebody in Missouri.
No, wow. she's here tonight, Angie Clark, and she's a college student in Missouri.
I thought she had a very tall antenna and she TV.
This weathercast gets around, no doubt about it.
It certainly does. But we say hello to her, and I guess it's spring break. Beep. I haven't changed at all, Angie. What's up next? Let's check it out right now in Oklahoma City. 27, the wind north at 8, humidity very low, 22%, barometric pressure 0.60, and steady. The record for this morning was 9. We had 11, so only 2 degrees off the pace of a record low. 28 this afternoon. It was not a nice day. I thought it'd be a little warmer than that. 36 and 59 across the state presently. We have a 25 at Miami, and we have a 29 at Ponca City. A little warmer out at Guyman with a 38 and some southerly winds, and that'll cause us a warm up tomorrow. But tonight, well, the wind is going to decrease down very close to 0. The skies are going to be mostly clear, and that should bring very, very cold temperatures. We'll see some 4s in the northeast and the northwest, and we'll see some 5s and 6s and 7s, 12 at Altus, 12 at Idabel, 7 in Oklahoma City, 7 in Tulsa. For example, and when you have very clear air, very clear skies and very cold air conditions like we have right now, and many times the temperature will fall close to the dew point. Well, our dew point in Oklahoma City is about a -7. I don't think it's going to go that far, but we'll say around a 7. And a 9 down at Ardmore. Highs tomorrow, a little southerly wind coming around. We'll see a 50 at Altus. We'll see a 40 at Miami and a 49 out at Guyman. I think a good day tomorrow, a cold morning, kind of a coolish cold afternoon, but it'll be all right. Then Sunday it will be warmer, but the wind will be coming up. Travel-wise, Interstate 40 to the west, no problem. There'll be some rain. Oh, we call it Northern California, Washington, Oregon. 47 in Denver tomorrow, 42 in Dallas, 34 in Memphis, 29 in case you're going to Kansas City, 22 up at Chicago. Let's see, we call it about the eastern 2/3 of the country, still large Arctic high pressure area, but you can see it's beginning to move off. That allows for southerly flow, return of air into Oklahoma. That's a little bit warmer. It's still Arctic air, but it will modify more when it's coming from the south than when it does coming from the north. Showers and thunderstorms down in Florida. We'll check out the metro for this evening. If you're going to be out in the 20s, those northerly winds, so it's going to feel cold in the teens overnight, and then around 7 in the morning, and then tomorrow afternoon around a 43. The wind in good shape most of the day. Then windy and 56 on Sunday, windy and 67 coming in on Tuesday, and we'll go windy on Wednesday with a 75 and a 75 on Thursday. And let's quickly check the forecast. Clear and cold tonight, light winds, lows 4, 7, 9, so very, very cold. For tomorrow, sunny and cold. We'll see some 40s and 50s around. The wind southerly 5 to 15.
Is that a seal?
Sound like it for the metro. Cold night, cold morning, cool afternoon, low 7, high about 43.
I wonder, could you hear
It's
that out
gotta
there?
be
If
Jesse
you
again.
heard this sneezing,
Yeah,
it
is it
sort of
Jesse
sounded like
sneezing?
He's been having a sneezing fit here lately.
kind of shook the set.
Scares us a little bit.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay.
Well, it is Big 8 tourney time, and the Oklahoma State Cowboys, what a game, kept fans on the edge of their seat this afternoon.
We'll have all the highlights when we take you live to Kansas City next in sports.
And now, Newsline 9 Sports with Chris Harrison.
Hello, everybody. It's one and done for the Oklahoma State basketball team at the Big 8 tournament. The Cowboys, possibly playing for a berth in the NCAA tournament, lost to Kansas State 58-55. Joining us live from Kemp Arena, Bill Teagans. And Bill, let's hope the Sooners play a little better than the Cowboys did today.
Yeah, it was not a good performance for Oklahoma State. 1 and out. They are done 58-55. As you said, they lost it, hit only 6 of 20 free throws. But tonight, Oklahoma takes on Missouri in the late game. Jason Rabideau, one of the Sooner assistants, joins me now. And first of all, you never know what's going to happen in one of these things, but you guys are playing real well right now.
Well, we hope so. But like you said, Bill, it's postseason time, and you got to really expect the unexpected.
Missouri's a scary team because they got a lot of talent, but they've struggled of late.
We spoke a little bit. You know, a lot of the teams here are scary. Missouri especially, good talent, a bunch of kids that have been through the wars in the Big 8 tournament, the experience of Coach Stewart, so we're going to have our hands full.
What's the key thing for you guys tonight? What has to happen for you to win?
Well, we want to rebound and defend. I think first and foremost in the postseason, you got to do that. And then we'd like to get out and transition some. We want to get the ball off the glass and maybe get it up and down some.
If you shoot the ball well, it sure makes it easier, doesn't it?
Well, it takes so much pressure off your defense, Bill. And, you know, down the stretch, we've shot the ball well the last 4 or 5 games, so we can kind of got our fingers crossed we can keep it going here in Kansas City.
Well, Jason, good luck tonight. Hopefully the Sooners come home with a win.
There we go. Hope so. We'll get one for Oklahoma anyway.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Jason Rabideau joining us here as the Sooners will take on Missouri late. Now, earlier, as we mentioned, the Cowboys lost 58-55. Ed Murray recaps that game.
The first half was a game of takeaway. Elliott Hatcher with 4 of his team's 8 steals. He scored 10 of his 15 points in the first half. But Oklahoma State had a little thievery on its mind as well. Jerome Lambert will score off this steal. He put in 12 of his 19 points in the first half, but Kansas State led it 28-24 at the break. With 11 minutes left in the game, the Cowboys found themselves down by 9 points, but Adrian Peterson sparked a comeback. The freshman scoring all 14 of his points in the game's final 9 minutes. This three-pointer by Peterson gave the Cowboys a 44-41 lead with 7:30 to play. But from there, the game went back and forth. Mark Young finally giving the Wildcats the lead for good at 54-52. The Cowboys still with a few chances, though, but Keontae Roberts called for offensive goaltending. A good call, says Coach Eddie Sutton. Finally, 3 points down, the Cowboys try 2 desperation trays. Neither one would go, and Kansas State wins it 58-55.
We kind of doomed our own fate by, at the offensive end, the turnovers, the missed opportunities underneath the basket on easy shots, and certainly the poor free throw shooting.
We just didn't come out and give the kind of effort that you would expect for a team that's fighting to get to the NCAA tournament.
And Coach Eddie Sutton says if the Cowboys don't get an at-large berth to the NCAA tournament, they'll probably pack up the uniforms for the summer. Ed Murray, Sportsline 9.
Again, the Cowboys just 6 of 20 from the free throw line. That really was the difference in the ball game. Right now going on, it's Nebraska 13, Iowa State 8. Of course, the Cyclones finished second in the conference, so they're expected to win. Again, Oklahoma, Missouri coming up late tonight. We'll have a live report here at 10 o'clock. Chris.
Thank you, Bill. Look forward to that, and go Sooners. Let's get one for the state. Well, there was an early game today, Kansas and Colorado. Let's take a look at that score and how it turned out. Kansas won that game handily, 88-55. Again, as Bill mentioned, Iowa State, Nebraska going on, and it's Oklahoma, Missouri tonight about 8:30. Semifinals of state high school tournament play today all around the state. The heavy favorite in the 5A boys, John Marshall. I tell you, they got a scare today. The Bears, they were pumped. John Marshall the miss, D'Angelo McDaniel the putback. This game goes into overtime, but John Marshall did win the game 69-64. 6A girls, not good news for the local teams. Putnam City, Sapulpa, PC, the nice ball movement. Susan Count, you can count that one right there, the three-pointer. But the Pirates are knocked off by Sapulpa. Misty Bruner with the follow bucket. And let's quickly go to the scoreboard. 6A girls, Sapulpa won that game. Tulsa McLean beat Lawton Mac. That was a close one again. John Marshall a winner in overtime. 4A, Eufaula and Star Spencer. This is boys action. Spencer's John Hart, the big man in the lane. Eufaula hung tough. Adam McLaughlin will come up with the bucket, but they lost. Star Spencer won this game. Let's go to these scores real quick. 4A boys, Veneta won in overtime. Again, Star Spencer a winner, and 2A boys, Carnegie knocked off Latta. But again, OSU out of the tournament. Let's hope for the Sooners a win tonight about 8:30.
Yeah, let's do.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, you may want to motor on over to the state fairgrounds this weekend.
Coming up next on Newsline 9, if you fancy cars or you are a potential buyer, we'll show you the latest and greatest and smallest car models next.
We want to bring you the latest on breaking news out of far northeast Oklahoma City, where a propane tank apparently on the back of an RV exploded just a short time ago. The address 208 East Campbell.
Apparently a 61-year-old man at this address was working on that propane tank. When it exploded, there were 2 other people inside the house. They were not hurt, but he did get some burns to his face and hands and arms. He's been taken to Baptist. We don't have any condition on him just yet, but you can see it appears that they are getting the fire at the house under control at this point.
We should know more by 10 o'clock, so join us then. Now, drivers, start your engines and head on down to the 9th Annual International Auto Show. You can check out every make and model available here in the Metro, and you'll see some interesting cars like Chris Harrison's, although it is not for sale. It's a Pontiac Stinger concept car. The auto show runs through the weekend at the State Fairgrounds. Chris likes that metallic pea color. It's very conservative looking.
It's a little bigger than your car, though.
I look better in it, though. You got to see the whole